Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from last Thursday,
So moved.
December 9th?
So moved.
Thank you, Noreen. Second,
Second.
any discussion or amendments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, so tonight we have Chris Bernier from the ambulance, the director of emergency medical services. Is he in the Zoom room with us? And I believe, if it helps, we're starting on page 22 of our books.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, thank you for being here.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
I will let you take it away.
All right. So we see that's on the screen, matches what I have in front of me, which is good. So you want me to start with fiscal year 22-23 or start within the current fiscal year now?
Why don't you start now and then we'll move along.
Okay. So for the current fiscal year that we're in now, we have two placeholders. One is for the stretchers that we're just finishing up the payments this fiscal year, and then one more next year, which is for 4 stretchers that we have in each of the ambulances. So that's equipment that we already have in place. And then the other item for this current fiscal year is a remount or a re-chassis of our oldest ambulance, which hopefully will be going to the Board of Selectmen's meeting next Monday to request the approval to enter into a agreement to spend those funds to get that remounted. And so that's moving forward in progress. In terms of next year, 22-23, we have again, the 4th payment for the stretchers. And then we have a cardiac monitor replacement that's replacing our oldest cardiac monitor. We did get a quote earlier this year in September. So that's what you have in the document there. I think it's on page 25 or 26. It's further down. So it's a cardiac monitor that does lots of different things for our paramedics, but takes a picture of your heart with an EKG, pulse, blood pressure. Can do a lot of different things. They're quite expensive, but they're a vital piece of equipment that we need for our service. And then the future years we have in 24-25 and 25-26 are the replacement of our support vehicles. They're coming a little bit older in age and have some more increased maintenance costs that are there. So I guess if you have any specific questions.
Chris, I do, Katie. That's okay. Chris, thank you. I believe looking to last year, the cardiac monitor actually is coming in less than you had. I think you were holding like 50,000 for that. So that's good news if that's correct.
Yep, we did get a revised quote and the price did come down a little bit. We'll also be able to trade in an existing piece of equipment, which is reflected in that quote. And they're going to give us about $6,500 for that. So that's very helpful.
So maybe we probably all know the reasons why, but I think also on the other side, on the flip side, the replacement vehicles have been creeping up in terms of the estimates. I think they were like 50 a couple years ago, then 65 and now 75. So is there any color just to share with that on that?
No, just the increase that we're finding with a lot, especially with the COVID day and age, and a lot of the increased costs with just different parts that come into the vehicles just for the actual manufacturing. The other concern that we have is the increased delay. So they're taking orders now for vehicles that are 2 years out. So that is another concern that we have, just the actual overall availability for the vehicle chassis itself. But just the different component price increases. I mean, we're seeing it all across the board, not only in just emergency services in general with our like medication increases and other healthcare durable medical equipment expenses. There's just a lot of cost increases that are going up.
Thank you.
So it's just a forecast, yeah, that goes out a couple of years.
Chris, this is Noreen Kokaruda. Are you concerned at all with that, with the delays that it might set off your schedule?
Yes, that is a very real concern. Actually, that's a concern that we have right now in the existing fiscal year for the remount of the ambulance 804. We've been working with the manufacturer and the vendor to try and give us the best time frame estimate. And at least as of right now, if we are able to move forward and sign the contract with that vendor, the earliest date that they're projecting now for us to get that work done is September of 2022. So they recently, one of the delays they were having is trying to get some of the chassis available. And those recently became available now for the vehicle, but that now the manufacturer itself is backed up to get the work done itself. So hopefully that's a worst case scenario and we can get it done sooner than that. But at least that's what they're currently projecting. But yes, that is a concern that we have overall. For at least at the ambulance, we're fortunate enough where it's our vehicles, we're able to rotate the vehicles. So we have two primary on-duty ambulances, Medic 1 and Medic 2, but each week we rotate those vehicles so that we kind of spread out the useful life and the service life of the vehicle so that they kind of have the overall even wear and tear.
Is there anything we can be doing? I'm not talking about the remounting chassis. I'm talking about going on with new or replacement ambulances. Anything we could be doing that we need to change looking forward down the road with deliveries that would impact us, that maybe we could do something now positively that would help?
I mean, depending upon the other services or the other purchase the town may be making, if we make maybe more of a bulk purchase or something where all the vehicles get lumped on a sooner time period to take advantage of the delays and maybe other promotions or incentives that are being offered. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. It's possible some of the other service chiefs may have some ideas, or if any other town department heads, but just with all the delays that's going on across the board, that's probably something that would work.
Well, that would have to come from you, right? You'd have to come in with a proposal for that.
Yes. Yep.
Chris, you said that the cardiac monitor, it replaces your oldest monitor. How old is that?
So the would be replacing one from 2011. So we got a grant from the FEMA AFG Assistance to Firefighters grant for two monitors, for two cardiac monitors in 2011. So that's the time frame. The American Heart Association recommends about every 7 years replacement. So we stretch it out a little bit longer and get around 10 based on our call volume and service and maintenance of the equipment. So
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on ambulance? I think you might be off the hook.
all right. Well, we certainly appreciate the support that the town provides our organization, and
Well,
certainly if there's any questions or you
We
know where to find us.
are so grateful for the service that you provide, especially now, but always. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Chris.
all right, Noreen, that was record time. So
Good
we're
job.
We're moving right along to the Madison hose truck replacement, hose and equipment with Captain Carroll.
And that's on page 150, I believe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Or is it 172? Which one are we looking at? Nope, you're right.
Good evening,
Yeah, that-
everybody.
That's North Madison.
Hi, Captain.
I am Greg Carroll. Nice to meet all of you.
Hi, nice to meet you as well. Thanks for being here. I'm
Sure.
gonna let you take it away.
Sure. So looking at the screen that we have here, the 205,000 for the arch replacement, that actually took place already. We went in the fall and moved that up. So that has already gone through. So that one's kind of added there. And with that, and the ladder truck we bought 2 years ago, we just spent almost $2 million. So that was quite a bit of money. So moving forward, we don't have any purchases till 24, 25. And in there is a it'd be an officer's vehicle, I guess we'll call it, and our main engine, the pumper. So I know you had questions with Chris's price of the 75,000 for a vehicle. Ours we have at 90. Looking at towns around us, everyone goes between 75 and 100 for a vehicle, basically. And to kind of break it down a little bit for you, and this is where it kind of throws it off, when the town buys cars for, department heads, whatever, they're in like the 30s, and that's what the car really goes for. So the stripped down vehicle is in the 30s on the state bid price, and then we add we more than double that price and adding things onto it. So the radios we're spending roughly 15,000. Emergency lights, lettering, and organization. So a cage in the back, so the stuff that's stored in the back can't fly forward. A center console for everything, and just an organization shelf to put all our stuff in. That we budget for 30,000, and then a $10,000 equipment budget. And for just because it's under 100, I don't really put a contingency in there for anything. So that's kind of where that number comes from. And that's where that 90, we kind of get the 90 from. It's for the towns around us, that's kind of what people do. And then we put in for a 8-year replacement on the cars. We think that's going to keep it, reliable, serviceable. And then what we're doing is we're pushing it off to a lesser used purpose, but we're going to keep that car. And then we also have a 2009 Expedition that we will put off to essentially just guys taking a class. Right now, guys for a class, they have to take one of our pickup trucks that is actually used for calls. So it's not the ideal situation. So we're kind of just pushing everything down the line. In the perfect world in the future, we'd have a car that would be new, 8 years old, 16 years old, and work the maintenance. I mean, when the 16-year-old one, or however old it gets, becomes unserviceable, it would just be gone. The engine for $850,000. So to give a comparison, Guilford just spent in the mid sevens for an engine last year. So figure a few years ahead. I think we're pretty good with projecting that price. That is our main engine. It goes on 95% of our calls we do. So that, holds water. It's got hose. It'll be full of equipment as well. And then the year after that is a refurb of our brush truck. So our brush truck's a 2002. It's a Ford F550. The truck is beautiful. It's mint. So we definitely don't need to replace it. Buying a brand new brush truck would probably be around $250,000, I would say. So all we're looking to do is just to keep that truck as long as we can, update the electrical equipment, make sure the pumps are still good, update some radios in it, have someone go through the underbody, make sure the suspension, the brakes, there's no rust, which there doesn't look to be just from us looking at it. And if there's any way we can make it a little more versatile to get a little more use out of it for different emergencies, we're going to do that too. But 75 is, I would say, probably on the higher side. So that's a safe price for us to be with that being a few years out. I've had 2 vendors come and look at it. Both say what we're looking to do can definitely be done in that price range.
Justin, go ahead.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Captain. This may be more for Stacy, I'm not sure, but the numbers you showed today are pretty much what you had last year, just moved forward, obviously, but we did increase the annual budget from 250 to 350, resulting in a healthier fund balance. So I don't know if that's for you, or maybe Stacy can just add some color.
I can chime in on that.
Go ahead, thanks.
Stacy, you want me to do it, or you want to explain that? I can do it if you want.
If you want to go ahead, Greg, go ahead.
Sure. So the SCBA for the entire town is up to be replaced in 2027, 2028. So that's like a $750,000 project. So what we did was I met with Stacy, and we decided to put it in the hose company's truck replacement account in 2027, 2028. And in doing that, it bumped our the money that's going in $100,000 every year to a company for that. So what that does is in 2027, 2028, the entire town, both Madison Hose Company and North Madison's SCBA will be replaced. So those were purchased. They've been purchased separately before. The departments have met. We want to purchase it together. It'll just make a cleaner buy, and it'll make compatibility with everything better. And getting that price. So when we bought ours in 2011, it was $265,000. So just doubling that simply to add North Madison, and then the cost between, the timeline for that. I met with MES, who's the dealer for the Scott packs we buy. They said that's a fair price to be in for now for budgeting that far ahead. So that's just future planning. When we did it in 2012, it was a special appropriation. And talking about it after that, it was recommended to try to put it into CIP, and this was our, plan to do that going forward.
I'm sorry. Thank you for all that. My connection's a little choppy, but what was there like an acronym? What'd you say? SCVA or what?
Yeah, so the air packs we wear to go into fires.
Got it. Got it.
Sorry.
It's on, if it helps, Justin, it's on page 159,
Oh, sorry.
about midway down the page.
Yes. Yep.
Could I ask,
Whenever somebody asks for a lot of money, my connection just goes dead. So.
could I just ask Captain?
Thank you,
I
Ken.
love that, Justin. Can I ask Captain Carroll, you mentioned in 2027, 28, 3 million. Can you just, for old town-wide replacement? Did I hear that right?
No, it's 700,000 we're looking
Oh,
for.
where did I hear? I thought I heard
Yeah.
3 million. Okay, 700,000.
Justin's line goes dead and Noreen's price goes up.
But the quadruples, it was very nerve-wracking. I was looking at that $1 million capital budget. I'm going, or 1.7. I'm going, where are we getting 3 million? Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. Any other questions?
You may have already touched on it, but I know in CNRE, you guys have something in there as well. Do you want to touch on that since you're here?
Sure. We've been looking to do a building expansion in our firehouse. We currently own the property looking at the firehouse to the right, which is where Chabela is. That's where we would like to expand in the future. We had some talks with the town about it. We put it into CIP. And from talking to Peggy about it, we need to present it to the Board of Selectmen, I believe, first before it comes into here. So that's kind of where we're at. We're putting our presentation together. We were trying to do it in the fall ahead of this, but it just didn't come to fruition. So we are working to put a presentation for the Board of Selectmen, and then to see if we can get the project endorsed a little more, or which way we can go about it. So that's kind of where we are right now. Is that kind of what you're looking for, I guess?
Yeah, I just wanted people to be aware that it's there. It's just in a different spot, but so you might come back with it to us after Board of Selectmen, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to see, what funding opportunities would be available. It's the projected cost of the project now is right around $2 million. We're starting some of the smaller work ourselves. So if you're looking at the firehouse now, the bay all the way to the left is kind of the oddball. It's wood compared to the rest of the brick. We're going to reface that, kind of make it look a little more updated. So that was part of the addition. We still got to take care of the current building that's there. So we're just looking down the road. It's obviously a 5-10 year project out, but we're trying to figure out the best way to work with the town for some funding to keep it. We're desperately short on space, so trying to see what we can do.
Captain, how much bigger would it make? What percentage are you talking of an increase?
So it's the whole space between the firehouse and the barber shop there. So that's the original firehouse, the barber shop.
But how much more space would that give you for the firehouse? 20%, 40%, 50% larger? Any idea?
I don't have a percentage off the top of my
I
head.
visited your firehouse and I saw the master job you do of parking those trucks inches from the walls. It's pretty remarkable how tight you are in there. So I'm just curious for that expansion, how much larger it would be.
It's gonna percentage, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm gonna say it's at least 50% bigger. So it's gonna be 2 bays off to the side, and then it's gonna be 2 trucks deep.
Okay.
So it's a fairly large addition. It would give us a large training room, a commercial kitchen, female locker rooms, male locker rooms, bathrooms, which we do not have now. We have no offices now. Give us offices. So it would encompass all that upstairs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You may come back, but if not, certainly in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Any other questions for Captain Carroll? Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us tonight and for all that you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we're zooming through, literally. So our next special guest is Chief Penders from Nomad. And that is on page, is it 172?
168.
68.
I'm not sure if he's here yet. He actually had his booster shot at 5 o'clock, so I'm not sure if he's popped on yet.
Well, it's because we're going so fast and efficient.
I know.
Tonight.
I know. I mean, the good news is he really doesn't have any change from last year.
That is good news.
The only thing that he does have coming up in year 6 is replacement of gear for $70,000. And we do not have to change his funding annually in order to support that purchase. So you'll see he's flat funded for the 5 years going out in order to support that purchase. And he does have a schedule similar to Matt Hose on page 170.
Mike should be on via phone.
There is a phone there. There is a phone number, yeah, 617.
Oh, great.
Excellent. Thank you for unmuting me. Had a mild panic attack, but we're good now. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for being here and for getting boosted.
Yes, absolutely. So in looking over the CIP and what our one purchase is the replacement of 1096, our current rescue truck. That is slated for its cycle of replacement in 2025, 26. I know when Dave Cohn, the past chief, was in, he was looking for a projected balance of around $781,000. We had to use some of the money in the past year. We used about $12,000 for repairs to the current rescue truck. It's our aging member of the fleet, so to speak. So we do incur some costs for upkeep and maintenance. But based on that prediction and kind of looking at the current trends, even though it's a number of years out, neighboring departments are making purchases. We were looking to increase the amount for the replacement of that apparatus. And again, it's hard to predict, but our kind of estimate is that it should be, we would think that the replacement would be closer to $1 million, but over 900,000 by the time that piece of apparatus comes up for replacement. So we were looking to increase the annual funding for it. And also, we do a lot of, the robust maintenance of it. The other option too was to defer 1 extra year to spread out some of the funding. So really have more of a replacement, push it to, an extra year out. So that was other than that, there's no other CIPs for us, just that one apparatus replacement.
Any questions? For Chief Penders? Nope. I think we're all set.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thanks for being here and for all that you do.
Excellent. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you as well. Okay. Are there any members of the public that would like to make a comment?
One has their hand raised.
Okay. If you could just state your name and address for the record and unmute yourself.
Sorry, Katie, I said no one has their hand raised.
Oh, I thought
We're
you
all
said
set.
one. Yay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Katie? Sorry.
Yes.
Just quick, unless I dozed off. There was, just to let you know, we both Nomad and the Madison Hose Company also have the equipment page, which is technically different, which I don't know that we didn't go over that. They haven't changed. In fact, Nomad, their numbers came down every year, but we kind of looked at the apparatus page, but there is also a page for them for, like hose and equipment.
What page is that, Justin?
They're just the
172.
Nomads is on 172. They're the next tab right after their apparatus.
And 160 for Mad
I
Hose.
don't
Yeah.
think technically we didn't touch on them. Not that they haven't really changed, so there's no issue. But I just wanted to, just for the record, so we're aware.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because we have some new members. So I think it's important they know that that's there.
Yeah.
And certainly if they have any other questions that come up on those 2 pages that they would like to have answered, we can certainly work on that for them, either by having our guests come back or, seeing if we can get those questions answered through Stacy.
I don't think both pages really have very little activity proposed on them. So I
Right.
think that's why they didn't bring them up. But normally, I remember in the past when it was low cap, there could be a lot of questions, but I don't see where we would have any. It just seems-
Nomad actually lowered theirs by 5,000 a year, so they should get a Dunkin' Donuts gift card or something.
You're on it, Justin.
At least.
That never happens.
No, we'll take it. Sounds good to me. Let's see if we can continue the trend. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you pointing that out. Anything else? So then Noreen, you're gonna have time for a bite to eat before your interview.
I'm impressed, very impressed.
Can you motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, guys, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. See you next week,
Bye now.
everyone.